going this week. It's always I always love watching some of the combine stuff. Like, I don't go out of my way. I don't schedule my day around watching the scouting combine the way I do watching NFL games. But I'm always interested because they do a great job on NFL Network of breaking down some of the players and what they do well and what some of the drills mean. And I don't know. I find it very, very interesting. But also very interesting at the scouting combine is some of the comments. I know during today's top headlines, we'll get into some interesting comments from coaches about their wide receivers, but not here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, although Mike Evans is a big part of the discussion. There's also a lot of other things to be concerned with this offseason as well. And listen, it started before this offseason. Aaron and I have been talking for a long time. I've been screaming from the rooftop since before last season about this team's need at pass rusher, the need to bring in, I think, multiple outside linebackers. And obviously they didn't know they were going to lose David Walker last year to the ACL injury. But either way, I didn't think they were deep enough with or without David Walker. And this offseason, I think it needs to be a massive priority to bring bodies in at that position. They don't all have to be Max Crosby. They're not all going to be Max Crosby. But even if you were to bring in a Max Crosby, I think you need multiple guys. And the question I asked before we hit the break is, does Jason Licht see pass rusher as big of a need as the rest of us do? He spoke about pass rushers yesterday.
So we are in a position, whether or not we had, let's just say that we had, in hindsight, had a successful year, and we would be in the same position we're in right now with the number of free agents and stuff and some places that we need some help. So we will stay true to our board in the draft. Mm-hmm. We need help with the front seven. We need depth. We do, one thing that gives me a lot of peace is the fact that we do have a young player. It's almost like a bonus extra draft pick this year in David Walker. And I think very highly of him. I'm going to stop short of anointing him the next Lawrence Taylor or anything like that. But we do think that he's got a lot of promise from what we've seen last year before the injury and then throughout the year attacking his rehab. He's a freak. And so we know we have that. Last year we were missing Kalijah for the entire year almost. Mm-hmm. And that was going to be a big part of our pressure packages, those two combined with Vita, obviously, and Yaya and our other players. So when we lost those two for the year, Kalijah came back at the very end, but that threw us a curveball. But I think knowing that we have him enters into it. It's not going to stop us from adding to that position because we always do try. Contrary to what a lot of people think, there are a lot of pass rushers we were very close to taking, but fell out of our reach or were taken way earlier than where we were, and we didn't want to give up a lot of draft capital at the time because we still had a lot of needs that we needed to fill. So we everything's on the.
So that was Jason Licht talking to T-Kraz yesterday on the drive from the scouting combine. I know he's probably not listening because he's out in Indianapolis. I love you, Jason Licht. Scares me, Aaron, to hear him talk about it as if the personnel was good enough. Because it isn't. The personnel's not good enough.
And on top of that, I don't look at, and I understand what Jason Light's trying to say when he looks at David Walker and says, well, we basically got an extra draft pick for this year.
Great.
No, you really didn't. You drafted him last year. He got hurt, and now he's going to hopefully come back fully healthy. And that's great. You saw the rehab and him working hard, but we were there in training camp, and we had heard and seen good things out of David Walker, but it was way too early in camp to look at David Walker and go, and I know he was joking about the Lawrence Taylor thing, but it was way too early to look at him and go, well, we saw it. We saw the makeup. You just don't know at that point.
Yeah, well, he wasn't joking because he was saying, I'm not anointed. I'm not saying he's that guy, right? But they're very excited about him. Listen, he is an athletic freak, but that doesn't always matter. We've seen that before. I saw somebody posted a video like last week, and you know how you kind of freak out about the Tez Johnson backflips.
Hate it.
Well, David Walker, at his size, does the same thing.
It's silly.
He does the same. There's video of him doing backflips, not in a game, but doing backflips just like Tez Johnson. So the guy is an athletic freak. But you know this. It doesn't make you a great pass rusher in this league. There's a lot of things you need. It helps. It absolutely helps.
Certainly.
But you need a lot of things to succeed in this league because there are big, grown-ass men who know how to use their hands on the other side of the line. And if you don't have pass rush moves, if you don't evolve those pass rush moves, like I think Yaya Diaby needs to do a little bit, then you're not going to be a great pass rusher no matter how much of an athletic freak you are in the gym or during recovery or anything else.
There's a lot of, I believe, game-wrecking pass rushers available in this draft. The problem is there's a lot of teams. Well, teams always need them.
Yep.
And there's always teams, if you see them there, they're going to take them. And a lot of teams are saying it. They say this, and some mean it, some don't. Best player available. Best player available. And there's going to be, I think, a lot of times early on where the best player available is going to be one of those pass rushers. And Jason,
I hope so at 15, that's for sure.
Right, but you don't want a lot of them to go too early. Jason
Exactly.
Light spoke about the draft class of pass rushers.
No, it's an intriguing group for sure. All drafts are different, as you know. Sometimes they're stronger on offense, sometimes stronger on defense. In this particular draft, there are a number of very intriguing prospects at edge rusher, at middle linebacker. So that's a good thing. Now it's just about the finishing process here between now and April of identifying and truly trying to identify which ones we think that are the best and the best fits.
It's going to be the biggest issue is finding the one that's going to be the best fit. I mean, you look at David Bailey out of Texas Tech, absolute monster. He's not going to be on the board for them, though.
Yeah.
So there's some guys, we all saw what Reuben Bain Jr. was able to do throughout that run. Some of these guys just at the top of this list, though, are not going to be available for them, and David Bailey was one of them that I mentioned.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be something they're going to look at. I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they did go another direction, right? Because at the end of the day, they are going to go with the best player available. I think they proved that last year. I heard Nick talking about it yesterday, and by the way, I've seen David Bailey going as high as second, to your point, to the New York Jets. But I heard Nick Wise talking about it yesterday when we did the draft coverage last year together, and when they said Emeka Ibuka, we looked at each other like, oh my God. And I was shocked. And it was interesting because he was saying on his show yesterday he could see the Bucs shocking everybody again and going with running back Jeremiah Love, which I don't know how you feel, Aaron, but I would be livid. I would be livid if the Bucs went running back in round number one.
It's just it's so far from an immediate need for them. Now, you could always use some depth back there. We've seen that before. But you can find the value there. And I know Jeremiah Love is special, but you can find value there that can help your team. And the most important thing for this team to get the running game going is the offensive line to be healthy.
Exactly. And listen, Bucky obviously can't do it himself, and Sean Tucker is free agent. Obviously, Rashad White has made it pretty damn clear that he's not going to be back. So running back is a need, and I wouldn't be surprised if they addressed it in the draft, but I would be absolutely livid if they did it in the first round. I don't think you can even consider that, and you're right. There's a lot of good pass rushers. Cassius Howell's a guy that, again, Nick was talking about yesterday from Texas A&M. They've got they had some really good pass rushers there this year. As much as we talk about Reuben Bain, and I love Reuben Bain, I love the idea of Buccaneer fans wearing the Bane mask from Batman. I like Messidor as well. Like, that kid could really rush the passer. There were games for Miami this year where he looked every bit as dominant as Bain.
I'd rather have Bain. I'd rather have Bain.
Dude, me too. I'm just saying I like that kid as well. Like, there were games where he had I think he may have had more sacks all season than Bain.
Jeremiah Love, I'm seeing a lot of teams that are going to take him early, so I don't even know if he'd be there. But
you mentioned, and I just saw it in a mock draft, him going 8th to the Saints.
I saw multiple mock drafts he was going to the Saints. So I don't know where eventually he'll end up, but for the Bucs specifically, I don't think, and by the way, it was I don't know specifically where he would end up. I think he's going to go early. A lot of them I see him going early for the Bucs. I just don't see that as the immediate need for the Bucs. I see somebody on the text line saying, get the pass rushers in free agency and draft Jeremiah Love. It's not that easy. I want Jason Light to go out, free agency and trades, make a trade, do it all. Then you can spend the draft in other needs, but that's not where they're at right now.
Matter of fact, tell me which pass rusher you're going to get in free agency, because we went over them after you get past Hendrickson, the list, there's some good players on there, but not elite talent. So I think when you start looking at a guy like Jeremiah Love in the first round, you're missing a lot of holes on this team that you could be filling with first round talent, and I think that's pretty crazy.